Let's talk about mastery, okay? Mastery. What does it take to master a skill? What does it take to master a skill that is very competitive? You know, there is two different types of skills, and there's competitive skills and there's non-competitive skills. We can do that in our own way. We can play or do things either to compete or to not compete. Even if you do it for yourself, you might be competing, though. There is a difference. If you're learning guitar and you're like, wow, I will become the best guitar player that I can ever be for myself, like, you're competing, okay? But if you're like, okay, let me play a little bit guitar, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, try to get a little bit better, it is what it is. You're not competing very much. It's like a degree of competition that you're participating in a way. And in League of Legends, if you play ranked, even if you play it for fun, you are competing. It's like there's some differences, but anyways, let's talk about mastery. Let's understand mastery. There's a level, of course. If we chunk it up, it's like easier to grasp the concept, in my opinion. So I did find a few like frameworks to chunk up mastery, and we will talk about them now. And basically, there's learning to be had at every stage, of course. So there is I forgot to write down who actually came up with these, but anyways, if you know, let me know. This model divides them into 5 different ones. It's novice, competence, proficiency, expertise, and then mastery. And basically, not as a novice, you will embrace the basics. Basically, and how this author phrased it was that basically how these people learn the most efficient way at each stage. And at the novice stage, embracing the basics is very important. At the competence stage, which is the second one, is applying your knowledge that you've gained from learning the basics is very important. At the proficiency stage, understanding the bigger picture becomes important. Expertise stage is trusting your intuition. And at the mastery level, it's basically effortless excellence. And I think we know certain content creators who like fit into these categories. For example, I mean, maybe not for the first few, but expertise level, trusting your intuition. I think somebody like ASAP or Nahil fits into this. Maybe the Bows, he's trusting his intuition, playing his way, doing things their way, in a way. But it's a little bit removed from the final stage, which is masterly, which would be effortless excellence. And we can put people like Faker. I think Agurin actually for solo queue would maybe fit into this as well. Agurin would very much struggle at the skill of competitive play, but in terms of solo queue, he's a beast. So yeah. That's just one thing to think about. There's another thing, it's the framework for learning in a way is also important, where you get input, you reflect on your input, you apply what you reflected on, you get feedback on what you've applied, and then rinse and repeat, you go back to input, which is super important. But League of Legends skill doesn't directly correlate to your rank, And this is like another thing for mastery. It's not like, okay, you're a master player, that means you have more mastery than a Diamond 1 player, in a way, It's not necessarily true, because skill and rank are different. If somebody only plays 10 games a season, their rank is not going to reflect their skill. If somebody plays 20 games, it's not going to reflect their skill. Even if you're higher than your friends, if you have less games than them, chances are you're actually a lot worse than your friends. That's just the problem with the system. It doesn't put you exactly where you should be fast enough, in a way. It needs like 200 games, 300 games to actually put you where you belong. And that's just what it is, So if you pride yourself of being diamond or whatever, and you have 20 games per season, you're probably a silver player, let's be honest. That's just the difference in the two, They don't directly correlate. Your rank will catch up with your skill and match you with other people of your skill eventually, but it takes a lot of time, and a lot of people don't put that time in. So their rank is just not reflective of their actual skill. Your skill, on the other hand, is developed by learning the right things that have the highest percentage of leading to you blowing up the enemy nexus. We talked about it a lot as well, but that's just what it is. If you learn things that don't do that, you might be hindering your progress and your learning as well. So it's not like a one-way streak. It's not like you're throwing stuff at the wall and eventually it will stick. That's not a thing that actually happens. If you throw stuff at the wall and it's the wrong stuff and that sticks accidentally, you'll have hindered your learning and you'll have to go back to the drawing board and learn more, So it's completely different. Your rank happens when you apply what you learned consistently over a long enough time to vote out the inherent variance that comes from it being a team game. So if your skill is gold 4 and you are in silver 2, currently you can lose 10 games in a row even if you play at your gold 4 level, but in 100 games you will almost be guaranteed to be gold 4. In 200 games, even more guaranteed. It's all just to weed out variance, That's your rank catches up with your mastery, which is the topic of the game of the video today, of course. It's a game of mental stack as well. That is very important to understand because mastery it's not universal, It's not like, oh yeah, now I have 500 games on this champion. I have mastered this champion fully. No, if the enemy picks some random stuff into you, your mental stack will be overwhelmed into this character. And then you will maybe make another basic mistake dying to a gank because your mental stack was overwhelmed with the matchup, like nuances, and the enemy has a little bit of an advantage, even though you should be winning the matchup. And this can snowball into a negative thing. So it is what it is, but just keep it in mind, It may look like a gold or like a diamond player makes the same mistake as a silver player, but the enemy, intentionally makes it more difficult for the diamond to perform the same task. That is why, it's an illusion to think like there's a promised land in League of Legends ranked. If you're in silver and you think, wow, when I get to diamond, my teammates will finally be good and I can actually play the game and climb. No, your teammates will essentially look similar to what they are in silver in a way. In terms of the mistakes being made, they're different, but the outcome will be the same. You will have a 0-5 top laner in diamond, and you will have a 0-5 top laner in silver. It is what it is, because even though in silver it's a different reason for why there's 0-5, there are enough reasons in League for the same thing to happen in diamond. That's why the game is balanced in a way. Because you can actually outplay people even at a higher level and get them behind so far that they can't play the game. That's the whole point of League. It's so snowball focused. That's why it's so difficult. That's why it's so beautiful, though. That's the thing. The entire game of League of Legends is about fundamentals, in a way. There's nothing new that you're going to encounter in 90% of the games in Iron compared to Challenger. It's the exact same champions, it's the exact same map, it's the exact same fighting, the exact same objectives, and the exact same goal, or end goal in the end to blow up the Nexus. You're not going to have 3 Nexuses in Challenger all of a sudden. It is going to be the same. How you get there is a little bit different because it's like a deeper level. It's like an onion type of deal, Even if you're at the last layer of the onion, it's still an onion, but it's a little bit different. You peeled off the other layers. These layers don't affect you anymore. Maybe you're fixed CSing in Challenger. Other people fixed CSing. But now it's the trading nuances, matchup nuances, meta, all of this stuff. So frustration basically only arises from misunderstanding. And you shouldn't put yourself down for being frustrated. I get frustrated all the time, It is what it is. We are learning, we are getting frustrated. And negative emotion can also help to learn if it's channel towards the right thing. If you associate mistakes with negative things, a lot of people learn like that. It's not very healthy in the long run. Maybe it is. I can't really tell yet, but in general, if it's all negative, then it's very bad. If it's a little bit negative here and there to really hammer home a mistake, then it's maybe good. For example, if you're dying to the same gank 5 games in a row, if you're frustrated with yourself, that means, okay, this emotion now connects with, or this action connects with the feeling of bad, which means your brain is less likely to not pay attention to it in the next game, in a way. Next game you will maybe be paying too much attention to it, and then you can be a little bit frustrated about paying too much attention to it and missing out on other things. Anyways, I'm getting going in different places with this, but that is my mastery video. I hope you learned something. I hope you can master any art that you want, and I hope you have a great day, okay? Enjoy. You
Why would you let this voice set in your head? It is meant to destroy you.